Welcome into the Rob Breaux Show. I am Rob Breaux. I am the host. You are the co-host. You can co-host today by commenting in the starting line chat line. We also have Carson Robinson in today, as always, on a Friday lunch. Carson, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. The Open's on. The Rangers are in first place. The new turf looks cool.
Oh, let's talk about that first, because I just saw that before.
Yeah, did you see that? Yeah, so did I.
The double T looks small.
It does. I first thought I had as well.
But I don't need a giant double T.
No.
I like the end zones.
Would you have rather had the non-beveled double T with the old lettered in, like the script end zones?
I mean, yes. I like the look better.
Yeah, if we could have chosen the
if
look
I
ourselves.
Could have chosen, it would have been the reared back
stallion with the Masked Rider.
And the old school double T.
That's my favorite tech logo of all time. Like, I think that is the best one.
And then in back in the day, it was just a red circle with that logo in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I had never seen until recently.
Yeah. My dad, he has a hat laying around somewhere with that thing on it. Ever since they moved, I've been trying to search for all those old. You remember that room that had all the hats in their old house?
Oh,
yeah. Well, we used to just go in there and grab whatever we wanted.
They're in a box.
Best hat collection ever. And now I have no idea where they're at.
Some box somewhere.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
They're not making a move. It's going to be the same jerseys this year. We're still with Under Armour. Like, it's all fine. I don't hate Under Armour, even though I would prefer to move to Adidas and the Patrick Mahomes logo.
Agreed.
I would prefer to have the classic look instead of what we're with right now with the widest pant stripe of all time and the red on one shoulder and white on one shoulder behind the double T, where you can't even see the double T really. It's like, those are fine. They're fine.
Just give me the throwback jerseys.
Yes.
As the normal jersey. Like, that's
put the beveled 3D double T on there.
Mm-hmm.
And give us the throwback look. That's all we want.
Yeah, that's all we want.
If you don't want to go back to the classic double T because it's too much money, put that. It can't be too much money to put a new sticker decal on a helmet.
No, I know a guy that could do that for pretty cheap.
Just put it back to the 3D double T and wear that uniform.
Yeah, wouldn't be mad at it.
And make Texas Tech bigger on the chest.
We would love that.
It's tiny text.
Yeah, it's too small. Too small.
Anyways, they're fine.
Now we're the jersey police though. So
yeah, we are, but
we've always been.
I don't hate the uniforms. Rob, on a scale of 1 to 10, how disappointed are you in the new football turf? 3. It is what I thought it would be. Like, I'm not upset by it. It's going to look really good on game day. It's going to look fresh. I like the black end zones. I like the white Texas Tech in the end zone. It looks good. And I thought it would be a traditional 3D double T there in the middle. It didn't surprise me at all. And I like the black and white Big 12 refresh.
Yeah, I like that. Like that a lot.
Which is what is their go-to now. They knocked all the red out of it, the pink or whatever it was. So it's just a black and white Big 12. Now, would I have preferred... Yes, I would have preferred a different look, but it is what it is. All right. I didn't really expect to complain about turf today.
No, I didn't either, but it is what it is. You're right.
They did put it out right before the show.
Yeah, they did. While we're on logos, you want to talk about the All-Star logo that the Rangers, we'll get on the Rangers segment and talk about the new All-Star logo that was unveiled. And by the way, who'd they use to do it? Josh Young.
Let's go to the Rangers. They unveiled the All-Star logo. It looks really good. I almost bought a Seattle colored All-Star hat because I was there in Arlington before the All-Star break. They look good. But I thought to myself, next year the game is in Texas. If Josh Young is an all-star next year, I can just buy a Texas Rangers hat
Fact. That is a fact.
with an
Either
all-star
way.
patch on it.
Yeah. Either way, though, like that hat's going to be a pretty sweet, add to the hat collection,
Yeah.
regardless of if Josh makes it next year or not.
And I could just claim it's a Josh all-star, even though it's going to be the wrong year.
Yeah. And you kind of hope that, like, I don't know. I don't want to say that Ranger fans are spoiled after this year because you had 6 All-Stars and you had 5 starters.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen next year in your own ballpark, which kind of stinks. But it'd be great if it did. It'd be really great if it did.
I mean, I think legitimately you could have 3.
Oh yeah, I think you'll have 3.
The middle
yeah.
infield and somebody else.
Yeah.
Of course, it'll be really tough to have the middle infield twice in a row.
Yeah, but if Simeon and Seager both have good years again, I mean, they
They're
don't
really
show
good.
any signs of being any worse next year than they are this year. They're in the prime of their careers.
They are.
So I mean, it's like one of those where you the shortstop he was the shortstop for the Cubs. Now he's with the Tigers.
Javi Baez.
Javi Baez, yeah, he was the shortstop and started for the National League for 4 or 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
So it's plausible that Seager could do it at short and Simeon is second.
On the starting line chat line, also, I forgot how elite the Mooney to Owens connection was. Damn, I miss those guys, and I'm ready to get hot tonight. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That game on ESPN Plus, I'm off camera.
Yeah, I think it's on ESPN Plus again tonight.
Dang.
I'll have to look it up.
I canceled my ESPN Plus during the summer. I'm going to have to go find it somewhere.
I'm sure some local watering hole will have it on if you can't make it out to the USA.
You going to go again?
I'll be watching it on my cart as I drive around playing 18 holes.
Nice.
Finishing up the 18.
Where are you playing?
Haven't decided yet.
Just somewhere.
Yeah.
Where are you going? You going to start at 6?
Yeah, you get the twilight rate starting at 5. So you go after 5,
Nice.
That's how it works, man.
So
cheaper.
Cool. It's only 86 right now.
It feels great outside right now. I don't think it's going to stay that way, but yeah.
Well, only 94.
That's not bad. I'll take that.
The low of 74, which is downright chilly.
Yeah, you're going to need a jacket tonight. Walking out of the USA.
I don't know about that, but
maybe a pullover, quarter zip,
maybe a sleeveless quarter zip, just another layer.
Yeah. It is on ESPN Plus. Lubbock Yonero says so.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out. All right, let's talk TBT before we
get that works for me.
They'll play the Enchantment tonight. The Enchantment, we scouted them. They look pretty good. I don't think they're as good as this Texas Tech team. I've not seen a line.
No, I haven't seen a line either.
We can go watch it with Lubbock Yonero.
Yeah, there you go.
Drop an Addy.
Yeah, drop that address in the comments. Everybody's showing up.
I don't know who you are, but you know us, apparently, that you would invite us over. So I trust you. High scorer tonight. Who do you think?
Leading score for the Air Raiders.
Or for the game. You can say Bam fourth if you want to.
Yeah. Let's go. That dude can shoot it, by the way.
Yes, he can.
Absolutely rip it from deep. That's what worries me a little bit about this Enchantment team. Him and who is it? Ramirez, the other guy, the left-handed Martinez, the left-handed guy. Yeah. That dude can rip it too from deep. Both of those guys were great players at New Mexico. Man, who's gonna lead the team in scoring tonight? I'm gonna go with Kyler Edwards. I love the way he was playing the other night. If he can shoot it from deep the way he did, and really you didn't need him late in that game.
Well, that was kind of Kyler Edwards, his MO.
True, his whole career, yeah. Hit a couple shots early.
He'll give you about 12 minutes that are absolutely freaking elite, and then just kind of be there the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's a fact, yeah. It's either going to be him or I like Tariq again. I think Tariq with the outside shooting added to his game now. I mean, he had it a little bit when he was here, like we talked about yesterday, but not as good. He can't step out. He looks a lot more comfortable out there. I like Tariq and the way he can score inside and outside now. I think he could probably lead you in scoring. I like that.
This front court, and I haven't seen Bleed Green play yet. We'll watch them today at 6.
Yeah, there's 7 guys on that Bleed Green team that played for McCaslin. You and I were talking about that the other night.
So we'll have to watch them tonight. Obviously, I'm sure McCaslin's loving that.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure he would love it if it was Texas Tech versus Mean Green in the finals.
he's probably rooting for the Mean Green guys too, because he coached all those
guys. And I'm sure he knows the rest with how he was the old guys that weren't playing. I'm sure he did that at North Texas as well. Got in with the alumni.
Oh, you have to at a school like that, especially.
But it just seems to me that the front court's going to be the difference. And Tariq Owens and Tolbert, Zach Smith, Krajic, it's just different than what everyone else has. And you have 4 guys that are true bigs. I don't know that every other roster has that, especially in this section.
Yeah, not in this regional. I haven't seen anybody with as much size and with as much athleticism in
explosiveness
in that front court that you have in your front court. Like there's some big dudes in this one, but like the Enchantment doesn't have anybody that's that big. That's that athletic.
Athletic is the key because Texas had some big guys,
right? But they weren't as athletic as Zach. No. They can't jump up and hit their head on the top of the backboard.
No,
like Zach Smith can. Tariq Owens is kind of the same thing. I think Zach Smith can outjump anybody that is in the TBT, but I think Zach Smith can outjump anybody that's in the NBA. But anyway, dude can jump, man.
Yeah. Owens plus minus over under 5 blocks.
I'm going to go under, yeah. If you put it at 4, I'd be more inclined to say, or 3.5, I'd say over.
3.5.
Yeah. 4.5, I'd probably still stick with the under because I think he's going to be around 4. He had 4 the other night, right?
Yeah.
And Zach Smith had 3 or 4. They combined for 7.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. Dejan Kravic had 1.
44.
44 had a rough night, man. He had a rough night. Rough go of it for that guy. I felt bad for him a little bit.
I didn't.
No, not really. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. What else?
If you had a line on this game though, since you were able to watch the Enchantment play a little bit, I didn't get to see him play a ton. I watched what they have on, TBT's website of the game. You were to put a line on it, where would you go?
It'll be closer than 30.
Yeah. Well, Tech was the Air Raiders were one of only 4 or 5 teams in the first round to be favored by double digits. It was a 10.5,
6.5, 8.5.
Yeah.
I still think it's a pretty good margin.
I agree. I think I would say, without seeing the Enchantment play a ton, other than highlights, their best plays of the game against Texas. I would say I would have put it around 9.5, 8.5 for Tech.
I think DraftKings has some lines. Yeah. Here we go. In the lab, Bleed Green. Bleed Green is -4. The Air Raiders -4.5.
Oh, that's close.
With a total of 152. So closer to my 6.5. Of course, they were 10.5 and won by 20 the last game.
Yeah.
Team DRC had the biggest line today. They're playing currently. It's 14-14. That is a plus 8.5 line for DRC. The program for autism -8.5 right now. That could be a live line though.
Yeah, zip them up. I guess that's Akron's team. They're
there's a 12.5.
Yeah, there's just 12.5 against Georgia Kings. I would assume that's a Georgia Tech, Georgia.
Yeah,
squad.
I think it's the Georgia group.
And then you have Mass Street, who's Kansas, obviously. They're a 6.5 point favorite against the Show Me squad. No idea who that. I would assume. I guess Show Me State is Missouri.
Yeah,
correct. So that would be a Mizzou squad.
And I think it's
that's going to be a crowd right there with Mizzou and Kansas in the same building.
Yeah,
and Wichita.
I think it's a bunch of Missouri schools.
Yeah. And by the way, I do. We were pretty close to being spot on. The tent attendance was 3,942 or something like that. We said it was 4,000 the other night when
So
you and I were sitting there at the ball game.
the
And
stat sheet,
10th largest crowd in TBT history
for what
in
it's
the
worth,
first round.
for what it's worth, um,
I think
the
you'll beat
stat
that
book,
crowd
the stat book said 5892.
for attendance.
Yeah.
Oh wow, TBT posted on their website 3,940 something.
So I don't know what the real number is, but it was around 4,000.
Yeah, we guessed around 4,000.
5892 was big.
I think you'll have 5,500 there tonight on a Friday night.
Yeah.
I think at
It'll be
least
more-
5,000.
It'll be more than last time.
Yeah, I think at least 5,000.
The Enchantment played pretty slow against Austin Zone. I figure the Air Raiders will win by 10-14. Worried when we play Bleed Green. They're going to be a tough out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Enchantment played slow because the game was slow. I don't know that they were slowing it down. It looked like they were trying to speed the game up. But Texas was just so slow.
Well,
Texas looks really unathletic.
I agree. And on that Texas team, Andrew Jones and Kerwin Roach were really the only two, like,
They weren't there.
no, they weren't even there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It
So
was Andre Jones and
it was it was a bunch of
no-namers.
yeah. Okay. Well, that makes more sense to me now.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't get to watch that game.
Yeah. Roach and Jones can absolutely score in the USA, but I didn't see him check in at all.
Wow. You look at the Enchantment roster. Brandon West, he's 6'10". He's their tallest guy. He's a guy that's been playing overseas for quite a while now. Played at New Mexico State and Jackson State, but
they have a couple of athletic guys. I think the Enchantment's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, I think they'll be a pretty good squad, to be honest with you.
What's number 31's name?
Great question. I have no idea.
Oh, you had the
McCants.
How tall was he?
6'7", 6'8". Let me look. I thought I had their roster pulled up. Let me look. Oh yeah, here we go. He New Mexico State had him at 6'7" when he played there. So yeah,
he's
6'7".
He played taller than 6'7".
Yeah, he looks a little bit taller than 6'7". We'll just have him stand next to Kenny Thomas, who's their head coach, and Kenny Thomas is around 6'7", 6'6". see what he looks like standing next to him. Kenny Thomas was a heck of a player when he played in New Mexico.
That made me
fun to watch.
The old Muggsy Bogues coach.
yeah, the mug, and then the Patrick Ewing's long lost brother.
Hilarious.
The coaches for the Purple Hearts.
I mean, he came up to his waist.
If that, yeah. It was quite the contrast right there. A lot different than Brashear and the coaching staff on the Tech bench. They're all about the same height.
Yeah.
Yeah, with 4.5, I'll take Texas Tech. Or
the
Air Raiders, whatever you want to call them.
Me too.
I'll take the Air Raiders at -4.5.
I think last year they got into the second round.
Yes.
And lost. But this team's better than last year's team.
Oh, completely. Agreed 100%. This year's got a lot more talent. And last year you only had 4 or 5 maybe Texas Tech grads on the team, Texas Tech alumni, quote unquote, and the rest were just filled in with guys from all over the place. One of them including the guy that went and played for the Texas team that got beat yesterday.
Yep.
Just because he said he wanted to play the Air Raiders. Of course, sorry about you, bud, but you gone.
Yeah.
Didn't work out so well for him.
Good luck.
Yeah. See ya. Have fun next year. Find another team.
I would much prefer to find all Red Raiders.
I agree.
Even if they're like not as good or not big names, I would rather have Red Raiders on the Air Raiders team.
I agree. Just like this New Mexico team. I mean, there's most of them are played at New Mexico, and a lot played from New Mexico State, which I guess technically the Enchantment can be just for anybody from New Mexico. I mean, it's the land of enchantment, which is a funny slogan, but
it's a great name for a team.
It's a what?
It's a great name for the team.
Oh, perfect name for a team. And we were talking about it the other day is the Air Raiders, great name for a team, plus the jerseys. Big time move on the shorts. You mentioned that to me. I didn't even notice it until you mentioned it to me. The bombs on the shorts, awesome. Great touch by Puma. going with the. I don't know if the teams get to design their jerseys or what,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
they made them look like Tech's normal, like Under Armour jerseys a little bit, but the bomb on the shorts, that's a plus move right there. That's a plus move.
Yeah. Did we ever get clarification on why 6 guys had to wear Puma
No,
shoes?
I need to text someone and ask them.
Have to get clarification there.
Yeah, I mean, Norrance would be the guy that I would ask, but he probably wouldn't know either because he's not on the team. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
What'd you think of speaking of basketball, the basketball schedule drop? So you get 5 home and homes and then 4 road, 4 home.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those deals where it was gonna. I was confused at how they're gonna make it work, to be honest with you. But 5 home and homes, and the home and homes, you're looking at it right now. So tell
Yeah.
me who the home and homes are against.
Baylor, UCF, Oklahoma State, TCU, and Texas.
I mean, I would have rather seen Oklahoma come here and then we go to Oklahoma as well, but just because I like that series. And
Yeah, UCF is kind of the outlier.
yeah, UCF, I could care less about playing them twice.
I would have loved to have gotten Houston home and home.
Yeah, Houston would have been great too. Not that I want to see Houston twice next year because I think they're going to be really good again. Kelvin Sampson's one of my favorite coaches as well.
Yeah, on the road, Iowa State, Houston, Oklahoma, West Virginia. And then at home, to miss these home environments, I think is really good, but loving to play these 4. BYU, who now has the largest venue and sells it out. Cincinnati, who has a great basketball history and sells out their arena.
The shoe.
Kansas, Kansas, and then Kansas State. The Octagon of Doom. So really fun to play those 4, but get to play them in Lubbock and not have to go to those environments.
Yeah, not having to go to Kansas, even though Tech has played pretty well at Kansas the last few times.
Yeah.
That you've been in Lawrence, wasn't always like that. That's for sure. But yeah, I like that Kansas and Kansas State come here because I think Kansas State's going to be good again. Jerome Tang's going to have another good team. Seeing teams that are going to be at the top of the league, that you should be at the top of the league. Hopefully those are, games where 15,000 are going to be butts and seats and it's going to be a raucous atmosphere is what you hope going into it. I mean, obviously there's a lot of unanswered questions going into the basketball season with a new head coach and pretty much a new roster. But, it is nice to have Kansas and Kansas State at home. And then I would have liked to seen them. And of course, I'm not going to go to BYU, but if I were to pick a trip, like it would have to go to UCF, which they do have to go to UCF with the home and home, and then to BYU would be cool too. But more of that is for football trips anyway, because you can get a little bit more out of it. But
so here's some clarification here on the starting line chat line.
Oh, yes.
The player that made the winning shot for the Elam ending gets $1,000 bonus if they're wearing Puma shoes.
Makes sense.
That's
I
what
like it.
Plus guys were saying.
Tariq was wearing them all game long anyway, so it didn't matter for him, and he made the Elam ending winning shot. So good for Tariq, $1,000.
If I could do one thing for the Elam ending, it would be you have to win on a shot.
I agree. So how would you do? So if you get fouled, it's just like a game of pickup basketball where you don't shoot shots, you just get the ball.
Yeah.
And you inbound in at half court, or you inbound it underneath.
Under the basket, yeah.
I like that. Wherever the point of where the foul occurs. Kind of like a non-shooting foul.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. I'm not mad at that. I think they should add that in, yeah. I think you have to win with a bucket. You have to win with a field goal, not with a free throw.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Man.
All right. Not gonna lie.
All right, let's move on to the Texas Rangers. You have some trade packages that they could go for that you came up with. Let's look at those and see what we can do for the Rangers here at the trade deadline.
All right, so our idea of Genesis Cabrera and those guys, a couple guys from the Cardinals bullpen is out the window. Genesis Cabrera heading to Toronto. They just picked him up in a trade last night, I believe, or early this morning, one of the two. Good trade for the Blue Jays, by the way. Really good trade to back up the back end of their bullpen. Really good left-handed arm, Genesis Cabrera. But for the Rangers, if you're talking like starting pitching wise and teams that are going to deal, so if you had to, like, Minnesota would be a perfect team to go to trade with because they're not great, but they're leading a division because they're a game above 500, and the AL Central is not very great.
Right, probably not selling.
So they're probably not going to sell. So Sonny Gray, out of the question. He was one of the first guys I thought of because he knows how to pitch in the AL West. He did it for a long time with the A's. He's one of my favorite guys. He's got one of the best spin rates in the game. He really slings. He's got a great cutter. When he's good, he's really good. But he is another right-hander. So to go with that, Blake Snell, we talked about this. We've talked about this trade for a while. Blake Snell for either you're probably going to have to give up Owen White or Jack Leiter in this trade and a couple more prospects if you're going to have to give up a prospect, or you're going to have to give up.
Does anyone want Jack Leiter right now?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. Like, do you want his potential? Yes. Do you want him where he's sitting right now as far as mechanically and injury wise? Probably not. And I don't know if he is tradable, to be honest with you, because they've shut him down.
Yeah.
And I don't know if teams are going to want to trade for that. Like, it's kind of like trading for Kumar Rocker. You're not going to trade for Kumar Rocker because you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, the dude's injury prone. And Kumar Rocker, we talked about this last week. I think he's done being a starter. He's done being a starter.
Yeah.
Anyway, another guy that I like is Alex Cobb, the San Francisco Giants left-hander. The Giants are probably more going to be.
They're hot right now.
They are hot. That's what bothers me. But I would think that they're going to be in sell mode by July 31st. It just depends on what they do in the next week or so. But I like Alex Cobb. He's a veteran. He's a guy that can come in there. He can shore up the back end of a rotation. Like, that's what you're wanting as far as starting pitching goes. I don't think for Alex Cobb you have to give up an Owen White or a Jack Leiter or anybody like that to get an Alex Cobb. To get a Blake Snell or a Yu Darvish, you probably have to. And you would probably want to add in Juan Soto to that trade with the Padres if you could. If you could finagle Juan Soto into that trade and then trade off, Acuna or any of those guys, and I had the prospect list pulled up as well. But if you could get Juan Soto and Blake Snell or Yu Darvish in a trade, just those two guys, so Soto shores up the outfield, where you got a great left fielder, or you can move Adolis to left field, Soto to left field. It doesn't matter. Juan Soto doesn't care. As long as he's in a lineup, he doesn't really care where he plays in the field. Because you have Taveras in center, you'd have Garcia in one corner and Soto in the other corner. That's a pretty dadgum good outfield, especially with the way that Taveras is hitting. You might have to give Travis Jankowski back to the Padres, where he's been before. I think he started his major league career in San Diego, which might be cool for him.
Yeah.
To get back to California, but giving up a guy like that, and then I don't know that you would have to give up Evan Carter, but you might in that trade for Juan Soto. But and if you have to give up Evan Carter, do you give up Evan Carter?
But Juan Soto's 24.
Yeah, I agree. And Evan Carter's 20. So there's not that big of a difference. And Juan Soto's is kind of like a major league veteran at this point too. I mean, you think about it, Juan Soto has been a common denominator in Major League Baseball at the top of the batting race pretty much every single year. I mean, the guy can hit for average. He can hit for power. He's a left-handed bat in that lineup. He can play every single day. And Evan Carter's still 2 to 3 years.
Ooh, hold on.
Is Juan Soto 28?
No, he's 24.
Okay, 24.
But I thought he had a longer deal.
No, they haven't struck a longer deal yet with him.
No, they haven't.
And that's fine for me.
Ugh.
What has he got? A year left? 2 years?
He's arbitration eligible.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. So that could be a rental.
Well, I think that you could probably re-sign. Well, he's going to be expensive, though. Like, really expensive. That's probably why the Padres haven't re-signed him.
30 a year at least.
Maybe the Padres want to get rid of Tatis Jr. Do you want in left center field? You can move Taveras to left field. Who cares? He's been playing center field for the Padres.
That's true. Okay.
I mean, would you mind having Tatis Jr.?
No, I love Tatis
with all the
Jr.
baggage. Do you think Rangers fans?
Woodward's gone.
Yeah, Woodward's gone. That's true. That's
Woodward
true.
would want him.
No, he would not. But yeah, I think that any of those, your top, Justin Foscue is another guy who you could get rid of in a trade. He's your number 8 or number 7 overall prospect. He's a second baseman, third baseman. He's been in AAA pretty much all season long. He's a guy that's like on the cusp of Major League Baseball, but with the Rangers, he's just not going to make it
No.
because of who you have with Simeon, with Seager, with Young. What's the other guy's name that I'm missing off? Hit a home run the other day. Plays everywhere. Swiss Army knife. Outfield. Yes, thank you, Ezekiel Duran.
Yeah.
Good night. You have all those guys that can play, and then if you're the Rangers and you have to get rid of Robbie Grossman too, that's fine.
Yeah.
So then the other trade option you have too is going and getting the back end of the bullpen set up once more, and you just shore up the bullpen with this, and that's Kendall Graveman from the Chicago White Sox. Kendall Graveman, right-handed thrower. You have 2 great lefties in the back end now with Aroldis Chapman, who throws 180 miles an hour. Back that up with Will Smith. You can close either one of those 2 guys, depending on what it's looked like. Who's pitched that many innings. Either one of those 2, Bruce Bochy feels comfortable with Aroldis or Will Smith coming out of the bullpen and closing a ball game. You need a right-hander. I think Leclerc ain't it. He's just not. If you could go get Kendall Graveman to shore up like the 7th, and then you have Chapman in the 8th or Smith in the 8th, and then Chapman or Smith in the 9th, or you just put in the 7th, it's one of the lefties, then Graveman, then another one of the lefties. Like the 7th, 8th, and 9th is shored up at that point, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get a good start for 6 innings, which the Rangers starters have been doing that pretty much all season long, then if you get one more guy, like a 7th inning guy, like a Kendall Graveman, you'd feel really good about that. And I don't think you have to give up top prospects for a guy like Kendall Graveman. I really don't. I think you could I'd be okay with sending Jose Leclerc for him, to be honest with you. Like, just make it an even trade. Leclerc for Graveman. See you, Jose. You hadn't been good, bud.
I'm in.
Or a guy who's the guy that's Martinez that's been up and down, or the right-hander, young guy.
Grant. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Anyways, yeah, and then now with the Cease coming up, isn't that who the new right-handed arm that just came out of the bullpen the other day, got his major league debut?
Pease.
With him coming, Pease. Yeah, thank you. I think he's going to be great.
He's
going to be good. Yeah, sweet story, man, and an awesome beginning. Strike him out, throw him out to get your first major league strikeout, then walk off the mound, just pimp job it all the way back to the dugout because you have the best catcher in the game of baseball right now and behind you.
Yep.
Jonah Heim is the best catcher in Major League Baseball. I don't know if anybody knew that. Offensively and defensively.
All right, rotations. Do you have anything else? I was going to go to the Dodgers series.
No, that was pretty much it. The pitching and then those 4 teams basically. And I like the Padres trades, man. I like the options. And then the Cardinals are still out there too. I mean, Aaron Hicks, he's a Texas guy. I'm sure he would love to come back to pitch for the Rangers. Jordan Hicks, my bad, not Aaron Hicks. He's the outfielder for the Yankees.
Yeah.
Or wherever he's playing now. Switch hitter. He's switch hitter though. Good player.
I don't know if he's at the Yankees.
He's 35 years old now. I don't know. I don't know. He might be out now. He was old. I know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the other thing I was going to say is if you could get the Twins to send you somebody, if they weren't in a race, it would be Sonny Gray, and you would try and get Byron Buxton or somebody like that to shore up the outfield. Then you have 3 all-star outfilders. I mean, Buxton hadn't had a great of a year, which is why I think you could probably get him in a trade. But I don't think the Twins are dealing.
No,
they'll buy before they sell, and they're not going to sell off Sonny Gray or anybody like that. You can get Joey Gallo back. No.
I wouldn't.
Would you trade Joey Gallo for Mitch Garver, though, for the DH role?
Yeah.
You'd switch those out.
If he plays as much as Garver does.
Yeah, send Garver back to Minnesota. It's where he had his best years.
Yeah.
It's where you got him from. as a free agent. He was a free agent after his best year in Minnesota.
He's been fine. But Heim is going to catch every big game.
Yeah. Jonah Heim's going to catch every game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Every game.
All right, so the starting rotations this weekend that you catch the Dodgers with: Gonsolin tonight versus Heaney. And then you have Miller versus Dunning, and then Sheehan versus Martin Perez. Do you like how that lays out?
I was just reading Tucker's comment. LeMahieu for Young sounds like a good deal.
No. As much as I love DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, as much as I like think DJ LeMahieu is one of the top third basemen in the game.
Man, what is the
second
AL,
baseman?
What is the AL? He plays everything. What does the AL East do?
What do you do if you're the Yankees? Like,
that's what I'm saying,
you're still in the wild card.
Yeah, you're absolutely still in the playoff hunt.
like you're still competing with the Astros and the rest of the AL East for the second wild card spot, or for those 2 wild card spots.
Yeah.
Nobody in the AL Central's competing for a wild card spot.
Nope.
So I don't know if you buy or sell. I don't think, of course, I don't think anybody wants what the Yankees like really have right now. And the Yankees aren't going to get rid of some of their studs because they know that their starting pitching's bummed up, and when they get that next year, they'll be just fine. So I don't think the Yankees sell. But yeah, the starting rotations. Who'd you say is day 3 again?
Let me go back.
Sunday.
Perez for the Rangers and Sheehan, who is 3-0, 4.91 ERA.
They just brought him up a while back.
He's got a 30 ERA away.
Like I said for the Rangers yesterday, if you can win 2 out of 3 here at home against the Dodgers and just kind of cement yourself as that one of the top teams in baseball here this week, because the Dodgers have been playing really well. They took 2 out of 3 at Baltimore, and Baltimore we know has been one of the better teams in baseball as of late. This is a big series. It doesn't, and obviously it's July. Like, we still have a long way to go. You still got about 2 months left of the season. But it feels like a huge series for the Rangers. It feels like a massive series, and not in the standing scenario, because I don't think it's going to kill you in the long run to lose 2 out of 3. But if you can win this series, like it boosts, like going into the end of July is huge on a high note. And then, getting a good trade in, finding some of the pieces to finally just make this team whole and go push towards the postseason. Like, that's huge. And this is a kind of series that can do that for you, and can make a guy like if you have a trade for, and then it's never going to happen, but for Shohei Ohtani, make a guy like Ohtani say, okay, maybe the Rangers are legit. Maybe the Rangers are for real. Yeah. Guys like that, and like a Juan Soto, if you trade for Juan Soto and you say, look at what we're doing, man, you can't beat the Dodgers in the NL West because your team is not that good. Come over here. We're beating the Dodgers. We're beating the Astros. Everybody wants to beat the Astros, right? Like, they're the defending world champs. Nobody likes them. So nobody. They get booed everywhere they go. Bregman or Carlos Correa was getting booed in Seattle the other night playing for the Twins.
I love it.
He's playing for the Minnesota Twins now. Nobody likes him. So, I mean, series wins like this are big, especially once you're coming up to the trade deadline. I think that's huge. So it's big series this weekend. Plus, if you do see the Dodgers in the World Series, if you get that far and they get that far, then you kind of have a little leg up on them. Like, yeah, we took 2 out of 3 from you. See if you can do it again. So I like the way that this series, the starting rotations. I do like that Martin Perez is going on a day where you could win the series if you split the first 2 against a rookie.
Man, his velocity, he's been throwing 91.
I think he had dead arm, dude, and that's why they sat him. And a lot of times with dead arm, I've seen it plenty of times in my career over the years. You see guys that have dead arm and they go from throwing 95, 96 to 90 or 89. You sit them for a month. It's been about a month since he's thrown. Been 3 weeks.
He threw last week though.
Yeah, he threw last week. That's what I mean though. And so he's just ramping back up.
Right.
So yeah, I think that dead arm was a lot to do with it. I don't think there's anything structurally wrong with it. He's just been at max effort for a full 2 months, basically month shorter than what he's normally doing on a regular season since he was in the World Baseball Classic. So I think that had a lot to do with Martin Perez. I think you're seeing that too in a lot of the guys that play in the WBC as far as pitchers go. I don't think for hitters it was that big of a deal because it doesn't put that much strain on you as a hitter.
Well, it turns the season into 180.
Yeah. I mean, it turned, especially for those guys that played a ton of games.
Yeah.
In the WBC. So I think you're seeing a lot of and you're going to see it in September. Some of those guys that pitched a lot in the WBC, what are they going to look like in December? It'll be interesting. Luckily, the Rangers didn't have any of those. So,
yeah,
because the Roldis couldn't play for Cuba.
Yeah, just Martin Perez.
Yep, just Martin Perez. That's it.
All right. Any final thoughts here as we move to the end of the show?
No, not off the top of my head that I can think of, man. Not off the top of my head that I can think of. I did see where I drove by. I was driving down the Marsha this morning. The new lights are getting put in at the Jones as well. So the new turf has been unveiled, and the new lights are going up. A lot of LED lights on those poles, man. There'll be a lot of flickering lights whenever Tech scores a lot this year.
Yeah, do you like that?
I'm not a fan of it. Not a proponent. No, it bothers me.
Yeah.
Plus, like, here's the thing too. Like, you're flickering these lights on and off. These dudes are trying to celebrate. They're jumping and high-fiving each other in the back of the end zone. If they can't see where they're coming down, dude, that's a great way to twist an ankle and ruin a season right there.
Yep.
So here's my head coach stick is here's the thing, boys. We don't celebrate till we get to the sideline. After the lights are done flickering, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But let's not do too much while the lights are flickering and we have some freak injury, like, the BJ Simmons tearing of the ACL type deal. Even though he did throw for 5 billion yards that year on a torn ACL, but yeah, I'm not a big proponent of them, but everybody's got them now. Yeah. I do like that they can color the lights. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, if they flash red, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think they can do that. I mean, we just got them put up at Lena Stevens Field there at Lubbock Christian too. Some new turf and new lights coming to Lena Stevens too. It's like the mini version of Texas Tech over there.
Well, I don't know about that, but we'll go with it.
Stadium upgrades anyways.
All right, that's all I have as well. Be sure to check out the startingline.com, startinglinecounseling.com for a free 15-minute evaluation with Chase Wade. If you can't get to therapy, if you're stuck in the office or whatever else, if you're working from home and you feel the time, telehealth is where it's at. Startinglinecounseling.com. You can find out more. And as always, you can comment on the Starting Line chat line as we go through these shows. All right, that's the show today. It's been the Rob Breaux Show. We'll see you next time.
Peace.